In other news, the No King's Day protests, another round of them are planned across the nation to oppose Trump administration. Here's what I have to say about the No Kings protests. We saw them happen before, and a lot of people were making fun of these protesters. They're saying these protesters are so old, and it's like, listen, you have to understand they were there when we beat King George, so it's important to them that we don't see monarchy in the United States again. Of course, look at this. All right. This is something I learned as a child. I had a wonderful lesson in media optics when I was probably 10 years old. We were praying outside of Christ Hospital in Chicago because they were performing abortions at a hospital called Christ Hospital. Shameful.
That is shameful. That's pretty bad.
Disgusting. And we were there. There were a lot of young families. And a news crew came up. And of course, me being a 10-year-old, I'm like, oh, news, I want to be on TV. And my dad said, they're only going to talk to old people. That's all. And what do? They talk to one old couple there. I said, Dad, why do they do? They said, they want people to think that pro-life protesters are all like old church people. They don't want you to know young people believe this. They don't want you to know young families believe this. It is very important to the media. It is very important to the left-wing press that their cause is depicted as young, energetic people who care about the issues, and your protest is a bunch of old fuddy-duddies. It's kind of like the I already drew you as the soy jack meme. It's like, I already took a picture of an old person at your protest. You're done. But for these No King protests, they couldn't even find a picture exclusively populated with young people. Notice that. They couldn't even find one because believe me, if they could, that would be the picture that we saw here. This is a protest for old people who are out of touch. They can't even hide it. They would love to. So, if you didn't think the antics were old enough already, a series of No King's Day demonstrations are set to take place nationwide on Saturday, October 18th, the protest. I just want to mention, I don't know if you guys know this, in Canada, they actually couldn't call it No King's Day.
Because they have a king.
Which I thought was super funny.
So funny.
It's like in Pulp Fiction where they're like, do you know what they call a quarter pounder in Europe? It's like, do you know what they call the No King's protest in Canada? Yeah. But a serious...
What do they call it in Canada?
Dude, I don't even know what they called it in Canada. There was like no tyrants or something like that. Yeah.
I think it might have been...
the protests are organized as a response to what...
tyrants.
Is that what they said?
Yeah, no
Of course. The protests are organized as a response to what activists describe as the Trump administration's increasingly authoritarian tactics. On October 18th, millions of us are rising again to show the world America has no kings and actually, Jesus is our king. And so take that. And the power belongs to the people. No, okay. I mean, unfortunately, our country doesn't recognize that, which is sad. But we should. We should be a
Poland
Christian
just
nation.
declared that.
That was amazing,
Poland
dude.
is
Poland is always up
Yeah.
to something good.
Poland rocks.
Poland's always something up to something. Always up to something good. So I just want to talk a little bit about this protest.
What does
You
it
see
say
this?
at the top?
They what they did here. So this is no thrones, no
Yeah.
crowns, no kings, and then down here they have a diagram of all the nursing homes in the United States. And so if you click on this, if you have that annoying MSNBC great aunt, like just put her in one of these places. We got a lot of them picked out. I think
Got her Birkenstocks and her gray bob. Yeah.
there was also another article I saw about this where they were talking about tying this specifically into like reproductive freedom, which of course, as we all know, is Orwellian newspeak for murdering babies. The whole thing's vicious. The whole thing's disgusting. The whole thing's terrible. I'm interested in hearing your thoughts on it.
So this will be interesting for the audience. This date of October 18th is very interesting because obviously I get asked, when is the shutdown going to end? Mm-hmm. I don't think they're going to end it before this happens. Mm-hmm. I don't think the Democrats are going to fold.
Then who's paying for it?
Well, I'm just telling you, these folks, they're not going to do that. Now, the 15th is certainly a triggering day because that is when our men and women in the armed forces need to get paid again. And I think, unfortunately, there is perhaps going to be a lapse.
They just sent the Senate home a few minutes ago, so.
Yep. So there's going to be a lapse in payment for our troops. And if somebody out there is thinking, well, Riley, why don't you do something about it? The House did. We voted for pay for our troops. We voted for all of that. We voted to fund the government. We passed it out of the House. It sits over in the Senate where you've had almost every Republican vote for it, 2 Democrats and an independent who also caucuses with the Democrats. There's bipartisan support to reopen the government. You need 60 votes to get cloture, which means end debate, and then actually vote on the bill. But I don't think they're going to capitulate before this, but we're all being held hostage because one guy, Chuck Schumer, is scared to death of AOC and the potential of her primarying him. And so I have called for several times, and I'll say it again, he needs to step aside and let somebody else lead, because leaders are supposed to lead and take hard votes. They're not supposed to just hold the country hostage so you can win re-election.
Amen.
Do you think it's likely that AOC will primary him in next year?
I do. She'll have the resources. She raises at least $10 million a quarter, if not more.
So this is something that we were talking about a little bit earlier, and you can actually speak to this, Riley. I personally think that AOC is the most dangerous Democrat in basically in Washington, because she has such an ability to communicate with people. And the chat's going to freak out right now because I'm saying this, because they don't like to hear things that are true. But she is incredibly charismatic, and she can relate to people, and she can, like you said yourself, she can raise tons of money. It's my thought that if she decides to primary Schumer, she'll win pretty easily. Schumer's old. He doesn't have a lot of people that back him nowadays. There is there's basically a civil war going on in the Democrat Party.
There is.
Is it the old school Democrats, or is it the far left Democrats that are coming in, the young people like AOC, like the Squad? And I think
Mamdani.
Yeah.
Mamdani. Even though I'm speaking only to Washington, that's a great point. Mamdani, that type of basically it's socialists, and this isn't like hyperbole. These people,
No, they self-identify.
Yeah,
Well, and not just socialists,
they caucus with the DSA and stuff like that. So, and if that is going to be, if AOC does win and she is the leader of the Senate, like the far left has won the Democrat Party. Then that means that there is no more war. The ultimate confrontation is going to be Schumer versus AOC.
This is their, how we had our fight with the establishment within the Republican Party. This is what's going on over there. The Mamdani one, though, is a good example, though, as well, because Cuomo is your establishment guy that they're just trying to jam in there, a Clinton guy, right? Like that old machine that they're trying to churn back up again. Schumer is the same thing. The thing about Mamdani or AOC is a better example, like Phil's talking about. She's outside of the machine. She has her own machine. She does not need the Democrat machine and that old machinery to go out there and win. She has a following. She is probably, in my view, the most dangerous Democrat in either chamber right now.
100%.
And at some point, she is going to run for president.
Not just the most dangerous Democrat in either chamber. She's the most dangerous Democrat in America.
Yes.
Because she can not only take... Congress people don't generally win the White House, right? She's not going to go from Congress to the White House. She's going to go for the Senate, and then after she serves, and possibly only 2 years. Look at how long Barack Obama was in the Senate before he ran.
brief.
And 2 years is perfect because
must
you don't
be
have
her
you don't have a
model.
record.
Yep.
Yeah.
And she has just as much charisma as Barack Obama did, and that is all you need. You don't have to have great policy, because legitimately the president is the person that signs off on bills. Sure, the president has the bully pulpit, but Congress actually writes the laws if they decide to write the laws. She could do a bunch of executive orders, but the fact that you came in here talking about how much money she can raise, you've walked by her in the halls of Congress.
Yeah, she engages with folks all over the place, and you can see her. She's an operator. I know we all make fun of her, like she's a goofball, whatever. She is a serious threat. She's a real politician who has, unfortunately, some serious capabilities that are really scary, to be honest with you.
But every time you see her on TV or answering a question, she makes a fool out of herself. I don't know who you're talking about, who she's relating to. Maybe you're talking about, relatively speaking, in terms of Democrats, who everything that they do is coordinated, and not even coordinated very well. It's I go back to looking at that. Do you remember? I don't remember exactly what it was, but there were like 40-something members of the House on the Democrat side that were given a script and an exact way of doing it. They were all holding the microphone in the same position, all synced up. And she didn't participate in that, I don't believe. But I mean, is that what you mean by because
The Bernie voters, all the people that loved Bernie.
Oh yeah, all
Bernie's
people, that's why
Bernie
they tour
is-
around the
She's
country
been on
together.
it. She's been on that whole tour, and
Yeah.
a lot of the way that she's relatable is literally on TikTok,
Yeah.
and Instagram, and all of this, because she will do. I follow her on Instagram because I want to catch a story before somebody else does. But she will go on these platforms and she will just talk to people. She will sit there. She will cook while she's talking. She'll have a glass of wine. There was the famous one where she was drinking wine and putting together her IKEA furniture. I mean, that's hugely relatable. And it certainly was at the time.
So let me give you a huge example, though, here, just real quick. She stood in front of that U.S. Capitol, talked about the Green New Deal, and we just laughed at her. That's a law. now. The Inflation Reduction Act is a law.
Yeah,
and we said, no, she's not driving policy for the debt.
She is. She's the most. People don't want to admit it. I think she's the most powerful Democrat in Washington right now. Even though she doesn't hold a position of leadership, if she decides something and wants to push something, she will get enough people on her side where it will actually happen. You're just like you said. The Inflation Reduction Act was just the Green New Deal. It was comedy gold when you first heard about it. Well, just like you said, it is law right now. I mean, there are people that think that I'm ridiculous. I'm telling you, she is the most dangerous person in Washington, D.C.
Well,
and it's not just dangerous to Republicans, it's dangerous to the country because her policies are absolutely terrible.
Well, this is what's going on with Democrats, right? They have no leadership. You saw President Trump just the other day talking about, the Democrats, they come to me and I don't even know their names. They have no leaders. It's like Somalia, he said. And I think that everyone knows AOC's name. Right? I mean, if AOC goes to the president, he's going to know exactly who that is. And everyone in America knows who that is. Everyone in America knows her by her nicknames. She's had a lot of slings and arrows at her, and she's still come out on top. And she was the first one, right? She was the first one. She was like the leader of the squad. She was the first one to really start pushing the Democratic Party away from the old machine that, runs Chicago, Boston, used to run New York until this Mamdani fellow comes in.
Yep.
She was the one who really started pushing the party far left. And now people are afraid of her. And people are also afraid of, the people who are coming up behind her. That's why Hakeem Jeffries has neither endorsed nor not endorsed Mamdani. That's why you saw Kathy Hochul bend the knee to Mamdani. And then you know what? He did not endorse her back. And that's what she was really banking on. And he doesn't have to because he has AOC in his corner and he has all of this stuff. So the Democrat Party is going to move further to the left.
Yep.
They're going to continue to advocate for, leftist violence. They're going to continue to pretend Antifa isn't part of what they are while encouraging them with their rhetoric to go out and cause mayhem. And this is what we're going to be facing. I mean, we're going to be looking in 2028 at MAGA versus the far left.
Yes.
And it's really just going to be a question of what the American people are going to believe is going to do right by them and their kids.
And if the current Republicans aren't successful, if MAGA, quote unquote, isn't successful, the people that come after MAGA are going to be your Nick Fuenteses. They're going to be the people like that far, like they think that Donald Trump, the middle of the road people and the left think that Donald Trump is far right. They have not seen far right. We have not had an actual far right party in this country that would be even looked at for probably 40, 50 years.
But who?
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.